to talk to you about today is kata. Korean styles call it hyun or pumse. We're going to take one kata and explain to you the movements within the kata, both grappling and striking techniques. Forms are used to practice self-defense techniques. That's the way the information was passed on 100 years ago, 200 years ago, 300 years ago, all the way back. They didn't have video cams to record. They didn't have the books like we have them nowadays. You didn't have the ability to go out and study martial arts with other people. Martial arts was passed down from father to son or daughter. From one village, they kept it. And the best way to do that, to remember the fighting techniques, was to practice the forms. Forms will give you efficient means of self-defense techniques. When you use a form, it has to look exactly like the kata to use a self-defense technique. If you see self-defense moves that don't look exactly like the form, then you're not getting a good application, in my opinion. To make the techniques work correctly, you have to make use of pressure points, vital points, places on the body where pain can be directly input and cause the person to pass out or even kill the person. You can make people sick with pressure points. So when you practice these pressure points, you have to use an extreme amount of caution. I'm going to be showing you a lot of pressure points in the course of this tape. And I will show you how to do knockouts in this tape. And they will work. But you need to know how to revive the people that you're doing them on. You need to know safety to actually knock somebody out. You have to understand the safety precautions. I want to talk about safety first. And as we talk about safety, we'll start understanding a little bit more about the forms. The first thing, if somebody is over 40 years of age, do not knock them out. Do not strike people on pressure points who are over 40 years of age. At 40, your body starts wearing out. And these pressure points affect the internal organs of individuals. So if your heart is beginning to wear out and you strike people that are over 40 on pressure points that affect the heart, you have the potential of causing them some serious bodily damage. Same thing goes with the lungs, liver, kidney, spleen. All of the internal organs can be affected by vital point techniques. If somebody has a bad heart, don't do pressure points on it. It's not necessary. If somebody has a bad spleen, liver, kidney, if they're on any kind of medication, don't hit pressure points on it. If somebody has low blood pressure or high blood pressure, don't hit pressure points on it. It's dangerous. You're going to hurt them. If somebody's using cocaine or marijuana or any other illegal drugs, don't hit pressure points on them. I've seen on any number of occasions people get hit on pressure points that are using drugs. I, by accident, have hit people using drugs. And you get an immediate, very, very strong effect on pressure points. It's so strong that the people get sick and they're very difficult to revive. If you use illegal drugs, do not allow anyone to hit you on pressure points. Pressure point techniques also require that you have a good knowledge of anatomy and physiology. You should have a good working knowledge of acupuncture, because that'll give you some clue as to what's going on with the body when it's getting hit. An important rule to remember is we make use of points that are used in acupuncture, but we also use points that are not used in acupuncture. And we do not use all of the pressure points that an acupuncturist would use. We're going to use places on the body that you can get to immediately in a real fight. Vital points that you can reach in a real fight. There's a pressure point on the bottom of your foot. That's pretty hard to get to in a real fight. So be careful. Do not hit pressure points on somebody unless you know what you're hitting and what the effect is and how to revive them if they do pass out from a pressure point technique. If you don't know or understand revival technique, please do not hit people because you can hurt your training partners seriously. When you're training, when you're working with pressure points, you can only do pressure points on one portion of the body at a time. Work only the arm. Do not try to go in the arm and then the body, or the body and then the legs. You'll make somebody sick. Pressure points will stay active, fully active for 20 minutes. So if you want to change parts of the body that you're attacking, wait at least 20 minutes. My preference is to wait a full 30, just to give a little bit extra margin of safety. But if I wait 20 minutes and hit pressure points, they still may be active. So I like to let myself have 30 minutes between pressure points, or areas of pressure points that I hit. When you're doing pressure point techniques, never hit pressure points more than 15 minutes per week, because you can cause some injury. When you go out to a seminar sometime and you see people teaching pressure points, there's going to be a time where pressure points are worked hard for more than 15 minutes in a day. That will be an unusual occurrence, and that shouldn't bother you. And people that go out and teach the seminars in pressure points should know enough about pressure point techniques to give you time to relax so you're not going to get sick, and work pressure points not real hard and heavy for a full 4, 5, 6 hours, whatever the length of the seminar is. Instructors should know how to do that. But for your own use as students, do not allow yourself to be hit hard on pressure points for more than 15 minutes per week. It can be very, very dangerous. Okay? When you're working pressure point techniques, the thing that makes what we do unusual or different is that we're using multiple pressure point attacks to affect knockouts, and we're combining the pressure points with the forms, whether it's a Korean-style form, a Japanese form, an Okinawan form, a Chinese form, or any other form of martial art. We make use of the pressure points in the forms that the person does to give you good, solid self-defense techniques. Now, what I mean by using multiple points or attacking multiple points is real simple. If you attack one pressure point, you're going to find pain at that pressure point. If you attack two pressure points, you'll find pain between the 2 points. If you attack 3 pressure points, the correct angle, direction, and amount of force, you'll effect a knockout with a 100% chance of revival if the person is not using drugs, if they're not over 40 years of age, if they do not have any medical or physical problems that could be exacerbated by striking pressure points. If you strike 4 pressure points with the correct angle, direction, power, you will knock the person out and you'll have a 90% chance of reviving them, which means that there's a 10% chance that you will not revive them. They're dead. So we don't like to go out and hit 4 pressure points with the correct angle and direction and knock somebody out. We'll do 3 pressure points to get a knockout, but not 4. 5 pressure points, correct 5 pressure points with direction, angle, and power will kill the person, and you cannot revive them. They're dead. That's all there is to it. They're dead. Obviously, we don't practice those techniques. And where you can get 5 pressure points and cause an immediate death of an individual, we really don't show unless we know the individuals well and trust them that they're not going to go out and try and hurt somebody just to be a bad guy. So there is some information that's withheld. And I think everybody can understand why we do that. We want to make sure certain techniques stay back from the general public so they don't hurt people. Because we go out and we do a seminar, and there's 15, 20, 30, 40 people, 75 or 100 people, whatever. And if we walk up and we show these people that we don't know how to kill, what kind of responsibility do I feel morally? So we have to withhold a certain amount of knowledge until we get to know who you are and trust you that you're not going to misuse the knowledge. Pressure points, when we teach them, it's sort of like giving you a loaded gun. The question comes up when I go out and do seminars at times, well, show me how to revive. I'm a little reluctant to do that. Because if you hit somebody and they've got a bad heart and you're knocking them out, and they don't come back, you may come back and say, but Mr. Clark, you said this would revive the person, and it didn't. They died. Or you may hit a pressure point that you find in a book and hit another pressure point and say, but I only hit 2 pressure points, and they died. Well, there's a reason for that. Some acupuncture points that you'll see in charts, some pressure points in the back of the karate magazines and books that you'll see are actually 3 points located in one small spot that you can hit and immediately knock the person out with a one-strike technique. So if you think I'm hitting only 1 point, I could in actuality be hitting 3 points. And if you have one other point there, that's 4 points, which could give you the knockout and maybe not revive the individual. So I'm a little reluctant to teach people how to revive until I know them real well and they understand the dangers that go along with that. If I'm a combat firearms instructor, my job is to go out and teach somebody how to put a grouping of bullets within a target. My job is not to teach you how, once you shoot the individual, to go take the bullets out, suture them, give them an IV, give them some penicillin, and get them back into good health. My job is to teach you how to shoot that individual and drop them. Then you call an ambulance and take them to the hospital, and they're healed, hopefully. So what I want to do is I want to show you techniques, understand that you have to use a great deal of discretion when you practice these kind of techniques. And if you don't have an instructor or you're not an instructor that's fully trained in pressure points, be very, very careful because you can hurt somebody permanently with this. What I want to show today is a kata in Korean style called cholgi. Japanese style call it teke, and Okinawan style calls it naihanshi. The form done Korean, Japanese, or Okinawan is very, very similar. There's some very small changes that are developed because each style will do the form just a little bit different. But the basic movements are the same. The applications of the basic movements are the same. And if you don't do this kata, this form, perhaps you'll see movements in the form that you do someplace in forms that you currently do. And then you can apply the techniques that I'm showing to those movements. So what I'll do is I'll walk through the form very slowly, give you some idea of what the form looks like, and then go through it a little bit more at speed to give you an idea of how I practice the form. And then start breaking the movement down, breaking the forms down to individual movements for grappling and for striking techniques. So, begins.